Hello, welcome back to the Hancock household. I am Erica Hancock.
And I am Kyle Hancock.
And, well, that makes us the Hancock household. So today we will be answering some questions all about becoming a family, pregnancy, and a little bit of relationship stuff, parenting stuff. So, Kyle, who sent these questions in?
A friend of mine, Katie Pierce, sent these questions in. And I think these might be more pertaining to you. There might be a few things I could touch on, but I really think that this is really a podcast for women needing to know things that they might not have known about before.
Yeah. So these are definitely for the ladies, but guys, it's so important for you to listen in too. That's why Kyle is here, because like he said, I mean, y'all, it takes two to tango, and you know it. So,
yeah, and ladies, again, if you enjoy this and would like to have other questions that you would like to know about, please do reach out, to Erica or on us through YouTube or TikTok or whichever, and ask us your questions.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer if you want my opinion. Cool.
So the first two questions that she had, they kind of went together. The first question was, when you became pregnant, were you ready to be a parent? And the second question was, do you think there ever is a right time to become a parent?
So, if you're waiting for when you feel ready, or if you're waiting to, if you're waiting to feel ready, you're probably never going to feel ready. There's always going to be something that'll push your finish line just a little bit further away. Whether you're waiting on the perfect number in your bank account, the perfect house, whatever. But I do think that we felt ready to be parents because when we got married, we had a goal to wait 2 years before trying to have a kid. And we prayed about it a lot. And yeah, I mean, once we reached that 2-year point, we really did feel ready. Like, we were confident.
And the 2-year point and the goal was not, hey, this is why we wanted, do this for a certain reason. It was a certain reason, but the reason that we had a 2-year was we wanted to be able to have time to spend together.
Yeah.
And get our house ready, get everything prepared, because we're learning to live together, how to be married to one another. So we're just going to take that time to really get ourselves and our marriage, underway before we, try to take it on the task as a parent.
Right.
And at the 2-year mark was like, hey, after 2 years, we can start looking at.
Yeah, we just decided to start looking at the idea, at the possibility, at that 2-year mark. And 1 month later, it was 2 years, and then 1 month later, it worked out, and we were pregnant. So that was so fun. And the Lord knew exactly what he was doing as far as the timing went. So it was cool.
So the next question is, what are some things you didn't know before you got pregnant that surprised you? So either about your body or just the pregnancy in general. What are some things that you might not have been taught in school or just didn't know about in general that was like, oh my gosh?
Yeah, so many things. Now, just for the sake of time and simplicity, I'm not going to get into a ton of the physical changes because we could talk all day long about physical changes that happen to your body when you get pregnant. There's so much that they don't teach you. I will talk about your ribs and your joints, like your hips, your organs. Everything moves. Everything kind of shifts out of the way. My ribs expanded, and it was uncomfortable. My ribs were sore all the time. My ribs started getting sore before I ever started showing, because that was just like my body making room for the baby. That's my arm. let's see, I didn't have so much of like the pelvic pain that people talk about, but that is a very real thing. You can Google it. Some people's is very severe. I didn't really experience that so much. Yeah, but my body did rearrange to make room for things. And let's see. Again, I could talk a lot about breastfeeding and the changes that happen to your body there. But just to keep it simple, I was doing a lot of research about breastfeeding before she came. And I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to breastfeed because I am so petite and everything about me is pretty petite. But y'all, no matter how much research you do, like there wasn't anything that I could do to like make it work. It's just so cool because the way that the female body is designed, it just knows what to do. Like you just pop the baby out and then all of a sudden breastfeeding just kind of starts happening. And I know a lot of people struggle with breastfeeding. I'm not saying that it's not a struggle. It is a struggle. But your body just suddenly knows, oh, I need to produce milk now. What? Like when that happened, when I first started producing milk, I was like, mind blown. Like I always knew it would happen. I knew that breastfeeding was a thing. Obviously it's been a thing since the beginning of time, but when you experience it yourself, at least for me, it was this realization. And I know we always are turning everything around and being like, but God. And I don't want to get on your nerves with that, but honestly, I don't care. We are so intricately designed. Like the female body is just breastfeeding and pregnancy in general is such proof of a master plan, like a master designer. I'm just saying it's pretty cool to witness it and then be like, okay, so we really were created by a creator.
And to be able to learn that, I think one of the things that you told me about before was when you're breastfeeding, when she gets bigger, the more milk that she needs tells you, what amount of milk that she needs too.
Yeah.
And it's just odd how you would think that your body would change for that.
Yeah, like he's saying, like your body just knows. There's nothing you have to do. You just go with the flow, and then it just kind of works. I don't know. It's just really, really, really cool. It's one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. And then also you can do that.
Yay.
Oh, and it surprised me how emotional I was. I started crying over the tiniest little things, and I am not one that has ever cried at movies, songs, books, anything. But y'all, I started crying over commercials.
I'm talking about Hallmark.
Like
emotional.
Yeah, like it was crazy. And honestly, I am still that way even after having her. It kind of changes your brain chemistry a little bit, and so now I am a lot more sensitive, I would say. But it's not bad. It's not terrible. I'm not like crazy moody or anything anymore. You might beg to differ, but you do get moodier during pregnancy. But then, like I said, even after the baby comes, it's like your heart softens and like you get a lot more just sensitive. Like you're just like, oh, like that's so cute. That's so sweet. And I've not been that person much before.
And guys, they can go from that to the next thing is I'm, really mad at you. But you got to think they have two, she's got her body, but she's got something else growing in her body. So that's a lot of chemical stuff going on right there in one body. So you just have to be very patient and, really try to try to weigh out on what you say at the right time. If it's the wrong time, really explain and make sure she knows you didn't mean to say that.
Yeah. Fun times.
Yeah.
Fun times.
So the next question is, how has life changed since becoming a parent?
Everything has changed. It's just, I don't know how to explain it exactly, but everything has changed in the best way possible. Becoming a mom, I did not know how much that I would love it. Like, I was worried that I would lose myself, and that's still something that I'm really careful of. But becoming a mother has been the best thing that has ever happened to me in my entire life. Other than, like, finding Jesus, you know? I mean, finding Jesus is number one. Becoming a mom, I would say, is super, super awesome. And, of course, I love you, too.
Yeah.
But, like...
I'm number 5. Finding me was number 5.
Yeah, maybe 6. I'm just
Because
kidding.
chocolate is probably number 3.
No.
Having a bar of chocolate is probably number 3.
No, I'm just saying, like, I really find so much joy and purpose and fulfillment in being a mom. It's so much more than, like, just becoming a wife, you know? A wife is a really, really cool thing to do, and, like, joining in that partnership with your husband is really, really cool. But I would say becoming a mom is also super duper cool. And I will say I've been really, really careful and intentional about not losing my identity. As like an individual, I try to be really intentional. And Kyle really is so good at helping me with this. Like, this whole YouTube thing was intentional for me to not stop pursuing my interests. And you still have to find those ways and those outlets to just be you, for me to just be Erica, rather than only be Evie's mom. Because it's so easy to just be Evie's mom, you know? I could just forget everything, because naturally you want to prioritize her above everything. But I will say it takes intentionality to not lose yourself.
And guys, I know, you know, women, they probably go out to work and they come home and still do the same thing. And guys, you know, women need a break. Definitely give them a break, because they're having to, you know, take care of the baby, you know, feed every day, and also having to do everyday tasks. You know, if they're wanting to clean, wash dishes, laundry, you know, anything like that, it's probably not an easy thing to do.
No, I mean, it's really hard, because, like, you were already doing all that stuff, and then all of a sudden you have this child that you can't just put on a shelf and go do things. Like, you gotta hold her, feed her, pay attention to her needs. And I mean, it's a lot. So yeah, it's definitely helpful to have Kyle to help me out and give me a break. But yeah, so you really do kind of change your priorities and everything. Sometimes, you know, laundry has to wait.
And it's like what we had talked about in our first Pretending to podcast, I think. Mm-hmm. Where, you know, having a task, doing one thing at a time.
Yeah.
You know, there's different things that you can do throughout the day that, you know, doing laundry, you know, you can put stuff in the washer and then, you know, not have to go back to that for a little while. But, you know, you can do small things that you can throughout the day to feel accomplished.
Yeah, and just, I would say, set realistic goals for yourself. I've had to learn how to do that.
Okay, so the next question is, how has your parenting differed from the parent you thought you would be?
Okay. How's your actual parenting differed from how you thought it would be? I feel like we could answer this question better if she was older, because right now parenting is just kind of like, hey, you think she's hungry? I don't know. You change your diaper? Like, it's just very simple things. She's not really getting into trouble or anything yet. But I will say I always thought that I would be the parent who was more authoritative. I kind of thought that I'd just be that mom that was like, this is how it is, quit crying, whatever. But I'm not that way at all right now. I don't want to say that I'm leaning toward gentle parenting. I don't really know exactly how that's defined these days, but I'm going to make up a term. I think that I'm leaning more toward empathetic parenting. So, for example, if she's crying, I don't like the thought of just being like, hey, like, quit crying. Because if I was crying, I would want someone to comfort me and to help me process those feelings. And so that's what I want to do for her. I want to have empathy toward her feelings. Another example, like, if Kyle went and broke something, I wouldn't go and be like, I cannot believe you broke something. I'm so mad at you. I'd be like, oh no, you broke something? Accidents happen. It's okay. We'll get a new one. Whatever. If a friend came over and spilled some water, I wouldn't be mad about it. I would help them clean it up and we would be fine with it. So I want her to know that accidents happen. Like, I want to have that same respect and empathy for her. Of course, there's big difference if she's being sassy or rebellious or just trying to, do something wrong and she knows it. And also, I know that our parenting style will greatly depend on her personality. I think every kid is different and everybody kind of needs help in different ways. So,
and I'm sure it'll change, throughout too. You might be the more of the tougher parent, and I might be the softie.
Yeah, we never know.
You never know. But
I think I just am a lot more open to having my mind changed. Like, I think I'm more open to being flexible than I ever was before. Before, I thought I'd be like, these are my rules, that you're going to stick to them. But now I'm like, maybe we can have a little empathy, reason with them, change our ways based on just how things go. Let's just go with the flow.
I think our one rule that we had together in this was that no matter what age that she gets to, that she will not try to pin each of us against each other.
That's a good point. Yeah.
If she goes and she asks Mama, hey, Mama, I want a cookie.
She's not going to talk like that. I don't know what she'll talk like, but wow.
And then Mama says no, and then she comes to Daddy and says, Daddy, I want a cookie. What did your mom say?
Yeah, we can't be playing that game.
Yeah, it's going to be based off of, what the other parent says, because at the end of the day, we're still a team.
We're a team. And, like, later in life, as sad as it is, they grow up and they get married or go off and start a career, whatever they do. And, like, us two, we're still going to be together. We're still going to, have to live together. And I don't want to ever be pinned against each other. We're trying to, like, always support each other. And, like, anyway.
Yeah. What have you realized is key to keeping a relationship strong over time?
As cliche as it is, communication is number one. We try really hard to talk through everything and to not go to bed angry or anything. And having a foundation on the Lord has been number one for us. We try and pray together, pray through problems, and pray Thanksgiving together, meaning, when we're really happy, we still pray. We don't only turn to God when we have a problem, but we like to thank Him for all the help that He gives us every day. Another thing, we don't joke around about divorce We try not to ever use that word. We don't think it's a funny joke. We take our relationship very, very seriously. We also are huge believers in love languages. So we try and speak each other's love language. Mine is words of affirmation, and Kyle's is physical touch.
And quality time.
Yeah. So I hope that these questions were fun for you guys. I hope that you maybe learned something. If you have any more questions that you'd like for us to answer, feel free to ask. I know we're not experts, you know. And if you guys have anything to add, like if you want to give your own answers, feel free to, because we can all learn from each other. You know, we're never going to stop learning. We're never going to be the experts on everything.
Right, and if there's any of these questions that we might have went over that, you know, you're like, hey, can you revisit that? You know, is there more that you can elaborate on that question? You know, let us know, and we'll be glad to, you know, go in more in depth. We're trying to kind of do I guess, just a overall synopsis of it, or whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, don't forget to hit like and subscribe and ring the bell and all the things. You can follow us on all the social medias at Hancock Household. And we'll just see you guys next time.
Have a good afternoon.
Later, taters.